Basketball, football, hockey, oh my, it's been an exciting week here in the sports world. And Mason and I are here to discuss this roller coaster and what it means for the future. Notre Dame's Enrique Ogunbowale hit not one but two improbable buzzer beaters, one to knock off then undefeated UConn and a second to defeat Mississippi State in the national championship game. Mason, is this stretch of success the greatest that we've seen in NCAA tournament history?
When I thought of this question, I thought of what was the most shocking runs to potentially an NCAA Final Four or a national championship game. The first one that popped in my head was 2 years ago when Syracuse advanced to the 2016 NCAA title game as a 4 seed. They had to go through South Carolina, which at that time was Asia Wilson, Elena Coates, Tiffany Mitchell, then go through Washington with Kelsey Plum and Chantal Osahor.
But then they lost to UConn.
They got killed by UConn.
And I got to say, that's my choice. Is the way that I interpreted of it was just overall domination. The 4-year run that UConn had, winning 4 straight NCAA tournaments, winning every game by over 10 points in each tournament.
It was truly an incredible run. I would also say you have to go back a couple more years, talk about Louisville and that run that they had in 2013
really
to the national title game. Again, they lost to UConn, but they got through what I believe was one of the most dominant programs in the history of women's college basketball, and that Baylor team with Brittany Griner in her senior year, knocking her out in that Elite Eight
I remember
game.
Before UConn went on that run, everybody was terrified of that Baylor team. Louisville
I was fully convinced that that team was going to win it all.
Specifically Brittany Griner, too.
Still one of the most dominant players in the history of the game. I would also give a little bit of an honorable mention, go back to the first ever NCAA tournament women's basketball championship, 1982, Cheney State College, the only non-Division I school to ever play in a national championship game. It's in Pennsylvania.
Okay. Very nice. Congratulations, but let's move on.
Joel Embiid suffered an orbital fracture and concussion in the 76ers game against the New York Knicks. Embiid is out indefinitely until post-surgery. The 76ers currently on a 9-game win streak. So, Thomas, what do you think this is going to have in terms of an impact on the Sixers?
I mean, obviously, this is so detrimental to the Sixers, especially with their playoff
Devastating.
hopes.
Not detrimental, devastating.
Absolutely. When Embiid is on the court, they're outscoring opponents by 12 points per 100 possessions. When he's off the court, they're getting outscored by 4 points.
I think this is very simple. If Joel Embiid is indeed the process, and he is not playing, there is no process. So there is no winning.
How's it going to work? They got a first-round matchup, and it's looking like it's going to be against either the Pacers or the Wizards. John Wall just got back.
It's the Pacers.
Exactly.
Pray it's the Pacers.
John Wall is back.
Yes, because John Wall is back, but also this Indiana team has been a surprise all year, but I don't think it's going to be a surprise in the playoffs. I think they're going to be horrible because I mean, really, other than Victor Oladipo, this team is not very deep.
Miles Turner
has not performed. Domantas Sabonis has not been good, and he's been hurt over the last month or so of the season. If they go up against them, even without Joel Embiid, they have a chance, though.
Embiid had the opportunity to really shine in that game going up against Miles Turner, but now it looks like Ben Simmons is really going to have to take a lot of control of this team.
Obviously, we'll know, they will have decided the Rookie of the Year before that, but Ben Simmons can really put the nail in the coffin for his Rookie of the Year if he comes out and balls out in the playoffs.
I'm wondering if he's going to be playing point guard. We'll find out soon.
Play every position.
Absolutely. With only a few weeks until the NFL draft, rumors are swirling about the Giants wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. being traded for a high draft pick. The Giants have made it clear they're not actively shopping Beckham Jr., but are keeping the phone lines open. So Mason, if he were to be traded, where would you say he goes to get a championship?
Well, there's been an interesting development over the last couple of minutes, actually. The Los Angeles Rams trading for Brandon Cooks and a 4th-round pick in exchange for their 1st-round pick in the NFL draft. If Odell Beckham Jr. goes to the Rams, I don't even think it's a question that the Rams are the favorites to win the Super Bowl.
That's quite a scary wide receiver duo. Let me tell you what.
Cooks, OBJ, on top of Jared Goff playing at an extremely high level, Todd Gurley, and a defense that somehow got better.
Incredible.
With Ndamukong Suh joining the team.
The moves that the Rams made so far, they're really looking good for the Super Bowl.
The Rams are filthy. The only thing that isn't filthy is having a Ram as a mascot.
That's true. They should look into that maybe. My pick's going to be the Atlanta Falcons. You've got a really experienced quarterback in Matt Ryan. He's in his prime. They've got the money to give Odell Beckham a full contract. And imagine Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, and Odell Beckham Jr.
Here's my problem there is that you have too many studs.
Sounds like you got too many studs on the Rams, too.
But Brandon Cooks is more than willing to defer to Odell Beckham Jr., whereas Julio Jones may be the best receiver in the league.
Imagine them on opposite sides.
Doesn't matter, though.
You get a lot of pressure off of one of those guys, and then the other, can run around
but
and distract.
Both of them want to be the guy, whereas Brandon Cooks knows that OBJ would be the guy. In Atlanta, Julio Jones is the guy. Yeah. He's always been the guy. OBJ thinks he's the guy, despite the fact that he basically missed all last season.
Attitude problems will always play a role into the first season, but say the chemistry works, it could be a really
But the question is who's going to win the ring? It's the Rams.
That's true. All right, you're right.
The Chicago Blackhawks were in a huge bind when they had to find an emergency replacement goaltender. Scott Foster was their answer, a 37-year-old accountant who stepped up and proceeded to have his night when he stopped all 7 shots fired his way, paving the road for the Hawks' 6-2 victory over the Winnipeg Jets. So, Thomas, the question is, should this guy get a full contract?
Let me tell you what, that was such a fun and interesting story to see. It reminded me once again of the Vince Papale situation, Invincible, but I think that's pretty much where it's going to land. I can't really see him getting a contract to a team in the future, but bad teams that need some help in goal know who to go to.
He's 37. Yeah. Why would you ever hire someone who's 37?
Just because of one game.
But this is also why hockey is so ridiculously weird. I will say the strangest thing about all of this is that he got an amateur trial, not a professional trial.
And what does that mean?
An amateur trial means you get a 1-day contract, no pay, and you get to shake hands with everyone at the end of the game and say, congratulations, you played on an NHL roster.
Hey, thanks for saving all 7 of these shots.
Professional trial, you get a 1-day contract, $500, and you get to keep your jersey.
Ooh, and Scott only got an amateur contract.
Correct, which is why if he gets another one, it better be a darn professional contract.
He got a really good first day tryout.
Professional tryout, yeah.
Professional tryout. Hopefully he'll get $500 next.
Yeah, that seems like a good payday.
At the very least.
I'd like $500. Well, that's all the time we have for these quick hitters, but coming up, I'll be throwing some screwballs to our MLB experts. Stay tuned.